Ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, scholars and dignitaries, welcome to another episode. Welcome to my world. So, over the years, I've known a lot of women that have gotten into relationships with the wrong men. And I've known a lot of guys that hooked up with the wrong woman. Sometimes it's a physical attraction, and sometimes it's for one or two special characteristics that appeal to us. But what they're missing is the compatibility quotient. Are they really compatible? And in what ways and on what level? So here's one example. It was instant chemistry. To him, she was a dream prize, popular, smart, attractive, a real catch. But he was one of the bad boys in school, irresponsible, barely making it, unreliable, a reputation of partying, a reputation for breaking the rules, all the rules. Still, though, she found that he had a strange attraction about him, and he gave her attention. And he was popular with his own friends, and he had a more exciting life. He always had some action going on, and she loved it, or so at first. So they started dating despite what her parents and friends said. They tried to warn her about him. They saw that they weren't compatible. But the two of them seemed to get along fine, and she was happy. They laughed and had a good time together, and she knew he had little character flaws, but she was sure that she could change him so that his little flaws would self-correct. She knew that in time and with her help, he would become more responsible and respectable. So, fast forward to today. Here is what happened. Either he self corrected and matured, became responsible, and they lived happily ever after. Or two, she threw in with his friends and became like him with a low quality lifestyle, unemployed, using alcohol and drugs, always in debt, always in some drama, and in a day to day grind and chaotic lifestyle, not knowing what is happening next. Or three, she finally understood that attractions were neither real nor predictive of the future of a relationship, and they had certain incompatibilities that she should have foreseen and understood. She broke off the relationship, which was messy, but at least it didn't leave them hurt and scarred for life. So, toxic relationships do impact upon the quality of life. Everyone needs friendships, and healthy friendships are one of the key elements for satisfaction and happiness in life. Toxic relationships, though, both in friendships and other relationships, are exactly the opposite. While different for everyone, for a high quality of life, a person should have relationships that bring fulfillment, stability, and contentment for life satisfaction. Quality of life really is not dependent upon one's degree of wealth or material possessions. It is more dependent upon the relationships a person has at work, in the family, friendships, and the degree of intimacy and satisfaction that they bring into a person's life. This in turn depends upon the characteristics a person has, their values, actions, ways he or she treats people, much more than the prestige they have, the money or power or outward beauty or attractiveness. In fact, these can be tremendously misleading characteristics for long-term friendships and relationships. According to psychologist Dr. Lillian Glass, author of Toxic People, a toxic person is anyone who manages to drag you down, make you feel angry, worn out, deflated, belittled, or confused. Healthy relationships support, encourage, inspire, and help one to improve and develop. They are essential to satisfaction and fulfillment in life. They show kindness, spontaneous warmth, affection, trust, acceptance, understanding, and mutual support and encouragement. In healthy relationships, one feels valued and respected. In contrast to healthy relationships are toxic relationships. More often than not, these are emotionally abusive and include mind games, put downs, playing the blame game, instilling guilt, manipulating, lying, guilt installation, and even telling jokes, which are really disguised humiliation. One hallmark feature of toxic relationships is that they tend to drain people of energy and inflict pain. There are many different types of toxic relationships. While many are easily identifiable, such as outright abuse or rigid control over the family money, others are less easily identifiable. There are several signs to tell if one may be in such a relationship. One sign of being in a toxic relationship is a person is put down verbally, either in private or in front of others. Another sign is if one finds oneself crying often or feeling depressed over a relationship. Other signs include a feeling of being afraid or unsafe, afraid to speak the truth at times for fear of upsetting a partner, feeling out of control of your life, or having a lower self esteem since you entered into that relationship. A toxic person might be manipulative, overly grandiose, always bragging or boasting about himself or herself, or self centered, or who gives false praise or flattery. Toxic people may be people who cannot admit their faults or flaws or admit to a mistake. Toxic people tend to complain, blame, or deflect onto others. They may be habitually late or cancel appointments. They may show little compassion for others. They tend to gossip. They show little interest in you or others. They constantly criticize. They may be judgmental. They always seem like they're angry. They don't know boundaries. They tend to be users, not givers. Toxic relationships are not always so overtly abusive. It does not necessarily need to be outright physical or mental abuse. Often the negativity, criticism, control, and manipulation can be subtle. Even as such, it is still real and very pervasive and still toxic for a person in that type of relationship. One way to tell if you are in a toxic relationship is if you have a feeling that you have been violated when engaging with this person, that they are playing games, not keeping their word, or belittles or speaks negatively about you or your friends. It's important, however, that you do give people a chance. No one is perfect, and many times these are normal traits in a person's particular stage of growth and development. Hey, we all have mood swings or make mistakes. The difference, though, is that toxic people demonstrate a pattern that does not change and mature, and the cumulative effect on you may be quite severe, often without you even noticing it. Toxic people have a pattern of these characteristics, and they can be quite strong and unyielding. So, what do you do if you are in a toxic relationship? Well, the best advice is prevention. So, strive to avoid toxic relationships altogether. When one first enters into a relationship, think and test for compatibility issues to see if it is a complementary relationship. If not, the relationship should end immediately and not be prolonged. I want to repeat that. If you feel at first a little uneasy, a little bit like this just isn't me, like you aren't really connecting on a deeper emotional level, then end it right there. Do not let it develop any further. And second, do not let physical chemistry or sex influence you, and it will, for men and women. It's a confounding and confusing dynamic, and it can throw you off your game. Because physical intimacy tends to bring people together, even the wrong people, it can override your natural logic and psychological warning system. Too many people, men and women, have entered into the wrong relationship, a toxic relationship, because they were drawn in physically without stepping back and looking at the totality of the situation. If one finds oneself in a toxic relationship and chooses not to leave, then entering into personal or couples counseling is a primary objective. There are also relationship support groups available that can give support and help teach coping mechanisms. Depending upon the circumstances, it may be suggested that a person not stay in a relationship that hurts. If this is the case and one decides to end the relationship, seek support and assistance and make preparations and follow through. Of course, in any case, if there is real physical abuse or a life threatening situation, the individual must immediately reach out for professional assistance, make plans, and leave to find a safe haven. A healthy relationship lifts and elevates and is one of the most enjoyable and fulfilling aspects of a quality life. It can bring you not just happiness, but joy and fulfillment. But a toxic relationship, no matter how strong a person is, can bring one down and even destroy a person or a family. And again, it's best to go into a relationship, any relationship, with both of your eyes wide open, especially in today's world. One needs to choose wisely. Hey, be safe, be well, and God bless.